My name is Laura. I am 21 years old, but now I am feeling like an 80-year-old lonely woman who is waiting for her death in a corner bed of the hospital without anyone to take care. It all started at when I was 6 years old. I still remember that day. I even went to school late that day because of the heavy traffic due to an accident. I saw that wrecked car while passing that scene. Suddenly, my brain said, "This one looks similar to our dad's car." But I ignored it and saw that car without blinking my eyes by sitting inside the school bus. After I entered into the school, my day started to become worse because on that day I got bullied on my school by my classmate Rob. But at that time I was never worried about anything because this is not the first time and I know how to handle this little guy because I have my dad on my side. He is a 6.3 feet tall and 300-pound guy. And here I would like to mention one thing. My dad is a soldier, so he always fit and he will be strict if it comes to the discipline. But Rob's dad is not like that. His dad is an average 5.4 feet tall guy. So if anything goes wrong, my dad will crush his dad like a tomato. So I was never afraid at that time for anyone because I got a soldier who is willing to sacrifice his life for me on my side. So even I got bullied at that time, I was not afraid of Rob. I only saw him as an idiot who is a loser to calculate the power of his opponent. So even I got bullied, I never took him so serious. But if I felt he is crossing his limits, I will mention my dad to him. And after that, he and his friends will shut their mouth like a turtle inside the shell. So after shutting Rob's mouth successfully, I entered into the classroom with my sweet little friends, Linda and Mia. And after that, my day went great as usual. So I thought I added another happiest day in my life. But after I reached my home, my mom was not there. So I looked for my dad, but he was also not there. This is the first time I felt the loneliness, but I was not afraid because I knew that they will come soon. But even after 2 hours, there is no sign for my mom and dad. So I started to get panic and feel the hungriness in my stomach at the same time. But in my home, I can get the food, but I just don't want to eat anything. All I needed at the time was the hug from my mom and dad because I can feel safe when I was nearer to them. Especially if my dad hugged me, I can feel the power of true masculinity. So, to be honest, more than my mom, I was eager to wait to see the face of my dad. So I just sat near to the door and waiting to see my dad. Finally, after 3 hours of struggle, I heard the sound of car. So I just ran away towards that car from my house because I knew the sound of our car. And yeah, my guess was right. That was our car, and I finally felt the relief inside me. And I thought, thank God, finally they reached home. But next shock to me was I saw my mom in the driving seat because my dad will never allow my mom to drive if he was with her. So instantly I recognized that my dad was not with my mom. And my mom approached me with a sad face after parking the car and hugged me with the tears on her eyes. At that time, I thought, what the hell is wrong with her? Why is she crying now? And where is our dad? And so many questions flashed within a second in my mind. So I also started to cry without knowing. I cried because I never seen my mom cried before that. I saw her with the tears in her eyes. So I asked her, where is dad? Is he gone to the war again without informing to me? My mom replied, no Rara, your dad got sick, so he is in the hospital. So I asked her, when will he come to our home? So my mom replied that My dad will be discharged from the hospital tomorrow. So I started to smile at her, but she never stopped crying. But I never took it too serious. So I went to bed early to welcome my dad tomorrow as the first person in my house. But suddenly, my mom waked me up at 2:30 a.m. and said, "We are going to see the dad now." I got pissed off and I don't want to lose my good sleep at the time. So I said, "Mom, I'm not coming with you now. I will come to see dad in the morning." But I never expected the upcoming reply from her. She said, "Lara, listen to me carefully. If you're not coming with me now, you will definitely regret for the rest of your life." After hearing this word from my mom, my sleepiness went away like magic. So I went to the hospital with my mom. But to be honest, my mom never followed any of the traffic rules at that night. She never stopped for red lights. She never cared about one ways, speed limits, anything. And I finally understand my dad, why he won't allow my mom to drive while he was with her. So I smiled at her, but she never saw my face. But I saw the tension on her face and the fear of going to lose something big. And finally, we reached the hospital. There, I was surprised because I saw my grandfather waiting for us there. I was very happy after I saw him, so I ran towards him. He just lifted me up and hugged me like my dad and said to me, "Be strong, my little warrior." I said, "Grandpa, I don't want to become the warrior. I'm going to be the queen." He laughed at me and said, "Yes, future queen, you're right, but before becoming queen, you have to build the heart of a warrior inside you." Haha, to be honest, at the time I never understood any of his words, but I laughed at him and I said, "Okay, Grandpa." Then after that, my mom took me to show my dad. He was sleeping on the hospital bed. So I started to run towards my father, but the nurse stopped me and yelled at me for running inside the hospital. I was shocked because my dad won't allow anyone to scold me in front of him. But this time, he is sleeping at bed with weird wires connected all over him. So I got confused. But my mom lifted me up and showed my dad's face to me. I called him Daddy and started to complain about that nurse. But suddenly, that nurse came to me and hugged me. She also cried and wiped her tears and said to me, "Stay strong, little girl." At the time, I thought she got scared of me after knowing about my dad. So I felt happiness. But still, I never saw any movement from my dad. So I thought, he is still sleeping. So I started to wake him up and started to scream, "Hey daddy, wake up. Why are you sleeping here? Come to our house." And he opened his eyes and looked at me, but he can't talk. I saw the movement in his throat, but I never heard any of his voice. Because whenever he saw me, every single time he will hug me. But this time, he never moved his hands. So my intuition starts to say, "Lara, something is really wrong." After that, my dad saw my mom and looked at me after seeing her. He moved his eyes between my mom and me. My mom again started to cry. I thought, Mom is an idiot. Because why the hell an woman need to cry when she was nearer to the warrior like my dad? So I thought that was funny and laughed inside me. So after seeing my mom's face, I looked at my dad's face. What the hell? That is the moment I was affected by PTSD. Because for the first time in my whole existence, I saw the tears from my warrior's eyes. My brain said, "What the hell? Is he crying?" At that time, my heart stopped beating and world around me stopped revolving. My brain refusing to accept the reality, and my heart started to feel the unlimited amount of sadness, fear, anxiety, stress, all at the same time. As a result, the tears started to flow from my eyes like the Niagara Falls. Because my brain is still failing to understand the situation, so I can't control my tears. So I hold the hand of my dad and try to lift him up, but I can't do anything. Suddenly, the devices connected with my dad started to make the weird noises. So a group of doctors and nurses came inside the room and told us to move out. Still, I remember that last moment with my dad. And after that, within an hour, doctors announced the death of my dad to us. So we all cried, and now I started to understand the meaning of the sentence stay strong. So after the funeral of my dad, I was afraid to go to school because now I was afraid to face my classmate Rob because he knows that I lost my only warrior on my side. So for the first time in my life, I was afraid to getting bullied. But my mom compromised me and gave me the strength to continue schooling. And as I expected, Rob started to bullying me again. So I was scared and even started to cry. So after I reached my home, I told my mom about that incident. So she suddenly called my school and made a complaint against Rob. Then she never stopped after doing this. After that, she took me to the Rob's house and talked with Rob's father. That was the first time I saw the power of feminine. That was the first time I saw the power of feminine. To be honest, I was shocked because before that I thought to solve the problem we need to be tall and must be a soldier. But my mom demolished that mindset from me. After that, Rob will ran away and after 4 years, everything went well, but my mom fell in love with another man. So she decided to marry him, but I don't like him from the start. But that was my mom's decision, so I supported her. My stepdad name is Max. Max is also a good person and a good caring person of his family. That is, he considered my mom as his family and he already had 2 kids. So he always reject me, but I don't care about that because I don't need this help to survive because my dad left this world after making my life in this world as a heaven. Yeah, my mom getting my dad's pension. We are living in our dad's house and more than that, we received a huge insurance amount after his death. So financial wise, me and my mom are well settled. So I never wanted to have a close relationship with Max because he always tell me to take care of his kids. But I don't want to waste my life by babysitting his kids. My mom married him when I was 11 years old. So at the time his kids were 9 and 7 years old. So he told me to babysit for his kids and I did that for my mom. But after babysitting Max's kids for 4 years, he wanted me to sacrifice my studies. So I refused to babysit his kids after that. Since my childhood, my father was my hero. So I also joined the Air Force to serve my country like my father. So after joining the Air Force, I fell in love with a man with similar interests to me. So we are engaged before 3 months and now I'm 20 years old. So finally, tomorrow the 15 year of loneliness without my dad is going to be destroyed by my boyfriend after marrying him. Peace.